Hello.
Hello.
More dangerous than a Chris Rock joke at the
Kinda
Oscars
watch
is
bits
the
of the
Saudi
race, but-
Arabian Grand Prix. The reference is a little bit dated now since we're a week late in recording this, but still relevant, I think.
Totally forgot about that.
This is the Final Corner podcast. My name is Colin, and I'm joined as always by Tom and by Nick.
If there wasn't,
Yeah.
if there weren't enough
Did you enjoy the
questions,
Oscars or the Grand Prix or anything that happened last weekend? Well, I guess we need to start with the fact that there was a missile strike during the middle of practice. Yeah, it just brings into question why we're racing in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, very minimal the
Yeah.
changes.
yeah, the
And
circuit is
that led
wider
to, I
and
think, a
stuff,
4-hour driver meeting to
but it
about
wasn't like the change.
12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, local time, whether the
Direction
race
of
was
the
actually
track's
going to
good.
happen or not.
I mean, I enjoyed
did.
the race.
I actually quite
It
enjoyed
had a
it.
slightly soggy middle, like a.
I
Not
didn't
well
really
done
notice
race,
any of the
but
changes
otherwise-
I've made to the track. I think I moved a couple of walls, but by and large, it's the same as last year.
Yeah,
It's very old school Formula One, isn't it? Engine failures.
Yeah,
and
it
three
kind
different
of,
engine
you're right,
suppliers.
it did kind of stop in the middle as if the race was over, but then, well, we had Latifi making it exciting to begin, and then we had multiple engine failures all at the one time.
Yeah,
It was a
on
bit
pace
bizarre.
as well.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. It was disastrous.
Yeah.
Abomination. I don't
They all
know.
went on the
Funny
same
things
lap
you could
as well,
actually
which
say.
is mad. Yeah. So, jump straight in at qualifying.
I feel like he was a bit
Big
too
news
cautious
at
over some
qualifying was
curves,
Hamilton was
and
16th,
maybe.
which, what can you say about
that? Conversations about the setup not being appropriate, which
Yeah.
causes him to
Yeah.
be a bit nervous.
Yeah, it does seem that Russell seems to be able to have a better setup at this track.
yeah, absolute
I mean, it's a
disaster.
very
and,
small
well,
window. isn't it,
highlights
that
so far, Mercedes have
works
got
properly
to
in, and if you're
claw
not in it
back.
exactly,
Right.
he's just really nervous.
So his performance is peaky. Interesting. That could mean they'll really nail it one weekend and actually fight for the top. You never know. I doubt it. But who else is though? That's always the thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
They are bringing upgrades this weekend in Melbourne. Yeah. So they're bringing a thing an upgraded rear wing and some slight modifications to the floor. And I've read that
Yeah.
the big floor change is going to be
Well,
immoral.
straight into the concrete wall, which
So,
decimated the car.
It's going to take a while.
Didn't seem
I
to
think
actually
Mercedes to get up there.
slow him down much. I don't think initially. It's like
16th.
it's still moving at a fair
That's
rate
just
for a
mental.
while.
Then
Yeah.
Q2, we had big
What's
massive
the
crash
barriers
for
they're using, like
Mick
NASCAR and
Schumacher,
IndyCar and stuff? Is it,
which
especially NASCAR,
went on for
safer
about 4
barrier?
corners.
Where it's like a sandwich barrier and stuff. Maybe when they're making, like, this is a new from the ground up street, not street, venue concrete walls. So therefore, I don't know how to.
That's
build
the second
a
Haas car that the back end's
Yeah.
been ripped off.
They
Obviously,
always
it's
put
like,
the Tech Pro in front, but they just didn't do it there.
yeah, right. So there was no safer barrier, no tech pro. A bit weird.
No.
You could say it was an odd angle, but that curve on the outside is very vicious,
Yeah.
and these cars can't handle curves very well. But I do like to see a curve that can't be taken, or is a bit of a risk involved. I have to say, I just don't think the wall was correctly padded. All right.
Ah.
No, I'm glad you brought up that safer barrier because we were talking about it on Radio 5 Live during qualifying.
It definitely
During the red
works
flag,
in
I went
NASCAR.
out and came
And,
back for when it
It's
restarted.
not
basically.
infallible. right,
And they were
but
talking
seems
about
to
it
be
there.
really,
Apparently, they put it at Porsche
an
curves at Le
improvement in
Mans as well.
safety. It just seems weird in the clinch.
Because they're just like concrete's just mad here.
Yeah.
We need to do something.
It's obvious to say that in hindsight,
And
right? 'Cause they would
apparently
obviously never
it's,
thought something
it
was gonna
actually
impact.
really works. So
But you
it
should have
seems
it
strange that
anyway.
F1
everywhere
hasn't taken that
through,
approach.
Maybe. I don't know when it's a new circuit. Then that raises the question: what would they do to Monaco? But we'll not go down that rabbit hole.
No.
Oh dear.
Potentially.
No.
Actually, you mentioning Le Mans as well. I would like to say Jeddah is the fastest street track in the world, apparently. But what about Le Mans?
You've been Monaco.
Well,
Would be,
yeah, Le Mans is
my
a street
recommendation.
is a street circuit. For fact, I think.
Which just sounds like what
mean,
you're doing.
It is listed as a street circuit.
There's a
Because parts of it
there's
are.
a bunch of tracks that are
Yeah, yeah. I
based
mean,
on
the
nice
Mulsanne
to-
Straight is
to get
a
more
main
exciting.
road that's converted during the race.
So I'm blaming them.
Yeah,
So isn't that a street circuit?
that's what I would say.
So it raises the definition of what a street circuit is, right? Because
Just bringing
are
back the
they
argument
saying,
from last
oh,
year.
you call it a street circuit because it's in a compacted city, or it's actually based on a street?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh,
Yes, of course. I keep forgetting that.
And this
No,
one
mate.
doesn't actually use any streets, right?
No, apparently bits of it are used as streets or are going to be used as
Yeah.
streets.
Oh, street circuit. Melbourne.
Anyway,
Melbourne,
it's
Melbourne
over.
would be a street
Yeah,
circuit.
They would call it the
As
car
would
park.
Canada.
Yeah.
Because that's a
But yeah, it was a nasty one for Mick, though, wasn't it?
it's just an access road.
We should say that it was perfectly fine. But it was a big red flag for ages because
So-
they thought he might not be, and the medical procedures and stuff.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong here. But wasn't one of the things why there was a
Yeah,
lot of that?
Over $1 million of damage,
involved.
apparently,
As soon as you hit the
which
wall,
ruled them out of the race on Sunday because they didn't, basically, if they crashed again, they didn't have any spares
there's
for
normally
Australia.
Oh, are you
this
okay?
weekend.
Yes, I'm okay. And then obviously start to red flag it for debris and the
Yeah.
wall fixing and stuff. But there was obviously a big medical presence there, and I think it was because they couldn't contact him.
Hmm. Yeah, that would make sense. I didn't realise that, but yeah.
Yeah. During the red flag, Gunther had an interview, and he said, "Oh, Mick's fine, but we just couldn't contact him, and he's got to check over for precautions like they would anyway." Also, sorry. During the red flag, there was a bit where they tried picking up the car with the digger, and it fell in
Oh,
half.
God, yeah. Yeah. I can imagine them looking at that.
But also, I don't understand. Like in that shot, there's one guy going, "Yeah, don't, it's falling apart." Another one going to the driver of the day, "Yeah,
Yep,
go
glad
on,
he's
go on."
fine.
I'm not knocking the marshals. I wouldn't know what to do either. But then later on, they had a flat
Yeah.
going along. And that
Yeah, the back end fell off again.
Yeah.
better solution to start with.
Haas have got a problem
Apparently,
with
the
the
way
rear
it
ends.
performed though is a new thing with his new rules, and that was purposely done.
Yes.
Obviously, the Grosjean incident wasn't. Yes, apparently the way that fell apart there is a design feature.
Yeah, and they are, what was it? They said something like 15% stronger or something this year.
Yeah, excellent. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the back comes off.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
He wasn't ahead at the first one, was he? And then
Big missed
smashed it in the
opportunity
second
though,
one.
considering
Yeah.
Magnussen was in
Super
Q3
job.
again, as was Bottas. Neither McLaren made it.
Best lap of his career. That.
Yeah, that's what he
Alonso
said.
And Ocon made it. Russell could only manage 6, and Sergio Perez took the first pole of his career.
Yes.
2.5 tenths ahead of Max. Mm.
No?
Well done, Checo.
He didn't even
Sure,
qualify
nothing bad
either,
will
right?
happen in a race to spoil your weekend. Anyway,
I think he couldn't qualify.
Nicholas Latifi
and then
enters
do
the
race,
chat.
which is a bad weekend. That
again.
on technical dramas.
Okay, race. Unless you've got any more in between qualifying.
Yeah.
Nope. Race. Tsunoda didn't even make the start. His engine went.
Yeah.
No, that's a question. What do you think?
Maybe
Has
how it's
3
fucking-
Honda
how
engines
it's
already.
cooled.
2 races in,
Cooling's
Was it different?
very different, I think.
which is going to be a worry.
Well,
Although I
like
think
to see them
Alonso's
like
going to be on his
those.
third engine
I'm all for it.
this weekend already as
Bring,
well.
bring on the engine penalties.
So I think a lot of them are having problems. Which is strange because the engine hasn't fundamentally changed this year. It's a different fuel, but I don't think this fuel
Brand
much else
neutral or
different.
something weird.
Yep. So, race start. Perez kept the lead. Zhou had a really bad start. And just,
It did.
yeah, apparently the same thing happened last week. Or 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. In Bahrain. So, yeah, disaster for him. Gasly pulled out a great move. Magnussen around outside turn 8, which was, I think, very brave. And then we got our early race entertainment from both the
It was great to see.
Alpines, which got a bit tasty.
I bet someone in Alpine is telling up.
I immediately
come on,
thought that,
should have
oh,
called
Tom, I
that
think
early,
this is
but
just
it
for the
is
sponsors.
early
But then
in
it
the
actually
year,
got a bit
early
tasty.
So I'm very glad.
Oh,
that it did.
Alonso tried to overtake Ocon in
some
turn
people-
1 and
they
then
nearly
it got
ended up in the
really
wall.
defensive.
But what
Which
they
I
also
think
did
peed
was let
off
Russell get away.
Fernando.
Yeah.
And it was a great fight for
Bottas and
5,
Magnussen
6,
closing.
7 laps.
So massively compromised the race, but to the benefit of everybody watching. What I worry is someone goes, no, that was stupid, compromise it, and they have like 2 more orders in the next races, but let's hope not.
Yeah, well, Otmar does have history with that, doesn't he, from the Racing Point days of just saying there's no competition between teammates allowed.
With Ocon,
Yes, in a pink
in
car.
a pink car. Yeah.
Good.
Marginally better. Oh, do I prefer the pink? I don't know, they both look good. Terrible.
Yeah.
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 Ocon's
It's alright, they're
clearly-
going back to blue
clearly
this
doing
weekend.
it to show that he can fight along.
They'll be fine again.
Which is the right mentality, I think. Otherwise, you get quashed for the rest of your career.
Yeah, awful.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, Ocon's got to watch himself because he's got a reputation, and you'd think Fernando's probably still got the power in that team to just let's put a stop to this,
Yeah,
which I don't think he wants.
Yeah, I think did he get up to 7th
Yeah,
or something?
well,
I liked it. It was pulling
Alonso
off
was
some
quite
motor.
aggressive when he actually got the move done.
There's
as
clearly
well.
later pace in that car that just
It
wasn't
was
maximising
basically
qualifying.
giving Ocon the decision. You're going
For
on the
whatever
wall
reason.
here. It's up to you. Which is nice.
Yeah.
Then the race kind of died a bit.
Yeah.
I think Hamilton was kind of making slow progress at this point.
It also highlights the general theme, I think, so far, is that there is the cars are close enough for the DRS and the aerodynamics to set up in a way where you can fight back.
He had a
And I
good
feel
battle
like
with
in all,
Magnussen, but
some
Magnussen
movement
managed to
made.
take him back again.
Yeah,
I
that was
remember.
it.
That was
Which is
kind
just
of it. Wasn't
crazy.
It?
Seeing a Haas
Which is brilliant.
taking
Then
a Mercedes.
Magnussen could fight back
It's like
in
what has
Hamilton,
happened
didn't
this year.
he? Oh,
think that's-
forever.
It's been a theme of the last 2 races, isn't it? That just because you're overtaken doesn't mean you're out of it.
Yep.
And it's good to see.
That is fantastic. Yeah, more of that, please.
It was. Yeah, it just looked like he lost it and then really overcorrected it.
Yes, definitely. A lot of overcorrections. He was saying in the interview afterwards.
Then
that
our
the
friend
car seems a bit
Latifi sticks it in the
unstable,
wall,
and they don't know why.
coming at the final corner.
However, he's put it in the wall
Just-
twice and that one didn't.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was so weird. He said he didn't know what happened, but it just looked like he slammed his foot down and lost the rear.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
He's
Also,
kind
I
of
think,
next in line for that, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I did
I
notice
also
over
think
the weekend
in
that there
his
was
former
quite a
career,
spotlight
Albon
on
was
Latifi
not at the front of the
on
pack.
social
People
media,
really thought
and I
he
just
was
kind of thought that,
oh,
you
is
know,
he good enough for this drive or not?
the Russian's
But
gone.
all
I've
you can
forgotten
do
his name
with a
already.
quick pass
Mazepin's gone.
so far.
Kind of the tensions kind of turn
He's
to
been
you now and your
defeated straight away.
mistakes. So
People thought he'd have to get back up to speed, right? But it might even be like still rusty and might even progress even further. So it's a worry for Latifi, I think.
Well, they were teammates in F2, and Albon was definitely the better of that pair.
So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But if he qualifies last every round, it's not good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't. He's showing up Latifi a little bit.
I love that. I love a bit of tactics like that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes. No.
Yep. So just before Latifi stuck it in the wall, Ferrari dummied the pit stop and Perez came in from the lead. And yeah, not sure it's allowed, but they did it. Yeah, nobody ever gets punished for it. So Perez pitted for the lead, then Latifi sticks in the wall.
I remember when I watched it live, I thought,
car.
well, no, Perez was in front.
That means that.
But when you actually see
Leclerc,
where the line is across the
Verstappen,
track, it definitely
and
was
almost
signs
Sainz gets past him.
yeah, I was thinking, is it the end of the
sweet.
pit lane line?
The safety
Yeah,
car line
same.
on the exit of the pit
But
lane.
it's not. It's this
Sainz had his
line.
nose ahead, so he ended up to concede that as well and end up fourth. I
I
just
felt
felt
sorry
so
for Perez
sorry
because
for
he'd done nothing
Perez.
wrong. At the
Yeah.
same time, this highlighted this whole new thing where it's up to the team and the driver to do the right thing and give a position back. And obviously, they pushed that to the limit by not doing that until the last possible second. I thought. Basically, Perez's staying in position protected Verstappen, didn't it?
It did, but at the same time, I don't think that the teams can make the decision to swap the cars around under a safety car.
Good point. Right, so you can just do that.
Because he did let him pass pretty much on the restart. It was
Yeah, it does, yeah. After the first
coming
two
out of
corners.
turn 2, I think, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was unfortunate for Sainz. Well, Perez sort of eased him wide there as well. I suppose he wouldn't know from his viewpoint who was ahead or not. But
No.
I wanted Sainz to be in third there for the restart. Like you said, he might have a good point. They might not be able to do it because I wanted a three-way fight to the front.
Yeah, I'd agree.
The safety car messed up the people who were on the hard tyre at the start and going long. So Hulkenberg, Hamilton, and Magnussen. Oh, I've got confused. I do apologise. It wasn't that safety car that did it. It was when the cars broke down that screwed them up. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Hamilton stayed out to his
Yeah.
eventual pain. I'm not sure what
You can start on
I
anything,
think
right?
he was just at the back the full race.
And new
I
sets.
don't remember seeing him.
Me too, because 11th and 12th.
Well, I think it
11th
hurt
and
them
12th,
as
they had
well
like a
because
little
they lost their advantage over the soft
not
runners
boost.
at the
But
start. Which
it
I
was-
forgot.
there was
My own
potential
stupidity that they
intrigue in
changed the
race
rule
that's been
from
taken away.
qualifying to the race start tyre. Which, which I kind of feel it's taking someone away a little bit, but
Yep. Yeah, I thought that as well.
yeah. Then, don't know how much else happening. I think there's a couple of midfield fights, nothing to note. Then Bottas pitted a couple of times and retired.
They're not
Alonso
exactly
lost
going to
power,
fix
and
it.
then Ricardo lost power on the same lap.
But were they
So
thinking
Alonso basically trundled
if he
around
stopped
the
and
full
caused safety
lap,
car,
which I thought was so dangerous. I was so surprised that the team didn't tell me to pull over immediately because a car turns on around at 40 miles an hour around these blind corners. It's just asking for trouble.
Yeah.
No. Exactly. Why didn't it just stop? maybe, but that's
Mm.
nah, just pure safety. That seemed mad. And then
Yeah.
Ricardo lost his.
It was
managed to
still
make
weird
it
how
to
the
the
pit
end
lane
of the pit
was
lane,
open at that point,
kinda
and Ricardo's
blocked the
in
edge.
the entrance.
Well, Ricardo
Alonso
wasn't
managed to
in the pit
stop
lane
halfway
as
down the pit
such.
lane,
He
anyway.
was right at the
No, he
start
was-
of it, wasn't he?
The line.
Well, yeah, Bottas
He was over the line.
pits.
Now that
So
raises the debate: can you cross the line?
Hamilton
into
came round the final
pits?
corner, was
Which
told
obviously
to pit,
Max was very
but he got
annoyed with
confused.
Leclerc crossing through the race.
Yes.
Because the car's parked.
And judging by the lack of action on that,
End
he
up
probably
ruining
could have
his
driven
race.
over it. It'd be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Hulkenberg. And then it was closed shortly after that. I think it was because they pitted when Ricardo was there, who was only partially blocking it, and then once Alonso travelled in front of him and stopped,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
when they closed it. It was intriguing that it
Well,
was three different engine
Magnussen
manufacturers
pitted
all
before the
tied
safety
on
car
the same
came out,
lap.
so he
three
obviously cut the
completely
line and got
different
away
problems.
with it.
More of that, please.
With the,
Yeah.
I was going to say the Renault, the Alpine.
Bit slow for the FIA there.
Yeah,
More of that. I want
was
more
gonna say.
retirements, please.
it did a bit.
Yeah, come on, Nick.
But
Come
yeah,
on.
the Alpines was interesting because the water pump died and then apparently disintegrated itself and fell into the engine, which is why that engine's useless. Bottas had a cooling problem that his engine kept
that-
overheating.
is
so
that
they
more of
retired
that
the
or
car
more
to
on
save
that?
the engine when he was fighting
All
for
right.
sixth.
It sounded like you were
Ricardo's, they haven't
demanding
actually
more
said why, but
a
he
bigger
said
explanation
he
from
thought
Nick.
it was a drive shaft, but he didn't know.
So they might be saved from the unit allocation.
Yeah, all on one lap. It just was really weird. And then I
Yep.
thought Hamilton was reporting a problem with his car at that point, but I think he was actually saying about Ricardo's car because he said car slowing down.
Oh, right, yeah. That could be Alonso.
Yeah, that's that for me.
Is it a full safety car or a virtual safety car? Oh, it doesn't matter. That's fine. I feel like when the cars broke down, it was a virtual safety car.
It was, but I think it changed to a main one.
Did it?
I think.
I'm
So,
sorry.
safety
Right,
car.
Sorry.
Bunched the field back up
Sorry,
because the
Colin.
race had
Could you
kind of
end
died at
now,
that point.
please? That'd be great.
The restart. Okay.
I can't.
There was a VSC at one point. I can't remember if it went full safety or not. You might be right. I can remember. Some locked up so near would cross the line first.
Yeah.
It just looks so stupid. But the DRS is really powerful, especially for the Ferraris who need it because the Red Bull's quicker in a straight line.
It's also just a bad activation point, though, right?
Yeah.
Or is it good? I felt last year we said it was a good because it provided some spice. Well, that might have been into Lagos. But having it in a braking point for a slow corner after big straight is asking for trouble.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not like when they're going flat out before the braking zone. Then there's less chance of
Or
shenanigans.
just put it on the exit of the corner.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's the best place for it.
I
Right?
don't see why it's on the entrance to a corner when it can be like this. If it's on the exit, the car that is behind the car that would need it will be the one that gets it.
Yeah, true. When they had that big lockup, both of them, I thought Max had thrown it away. I thought, oh, he had an extra big lockup. I thought damaged tyres, and then he was slow to react and wheel spun and slid.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because the Red Bull's just some. Like to me, my impression is the Ferrari's quicker over a lap. The Red Bull is slightly slower over a lap. But if you're within striking distance down the straight, it doesn't matter. Like that's a better race car to have be quicker in the straight line because you get track position then.
It's so weird to be talking about a Red Bull having the best straight line speed. It's such a reverse because Leclerc was pulling away in sector 1 where I think he was using a lot of his tyres and then Max just closed up for the two fast sections. I think he eventually got him in the final corner, but he hung back on his own braking, so you get the DRS as well. But I feel like Charles would have got him. I think on the penultimate lap, he was right behind him coming to the final corner. But then Albon hit Stroll.
Yeah.
And turn 1 was disabled the DRS, so he didn't get the chance.
Yeah.
But I thought it was close enough they would have probably got him into turn one in that lap. Whether they'd have kept him on the last lap or not, I don't know, but it was definitely, that was his only chance to get it.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
But even with the DRS, the Ferrari wasn't closing any. When you compare it to the Red Bull with DRS, the difference in speed is dramatic in the favour of the Red Bull.
Yeah, I don't know how much of it is engine power or if it's their setup as well.
I think it's a bit. I think it's setup. I think it's engine, but I think it's the aerodynamic design that they've got is maybe more suited to straight line speed this year. But it means, like I say, that they don't necessarily have to be quicker than Ferrari. As long as they're in striking distance, they can then race. It's hard to defend against straight line speed, and then it's hard for Leclerc to fight back, even if his car's quicker, because it's quicker in the wrong parts of the circuit. But you want cars with different abilities in different areas. So it bodes well for the year ahead. Although part of me thinks so many tracks in Formula One were artificially designed with long straights into hairpins just to try and generate overtaking. That's going to play into Red Bull's favour in the race. Like, even if Ferrari's like miles ahead, if there's a safety car.
I'm a little bit puzzled by the Mercedes this year, because all the Mercedes powered cars are so in a straight line. You wonder if they all made a similar aero and setup mistake, or is there actually a problem with that engine this year that they've not had before?
Well, the FIA have just actually said that they have parity for the engines, so that the engine freeze is now in effect, so all the engines cannot be changed till 2026, and that they're happy that they are all comparable in speed.
Wonder why all the Mercedes cars then are struggling.
Yeah.
They maybe all just... Well, if you think about it, actually, McLaren have made a mess of their car. Aston Martin have made a mess of their car. Williams have made a mess of their car.
That's true.
And Mercedes have got challenges. So the problem may actually not be the engine. It might just be their overall car is struggling.
It could well be.
So they've all got similar issues because they've all made a mess of their aero rather than their engine. But the
never know.
No. What did you think of the Stroll and Albon crash?
A little bit of 50-50. But what was the result of that? Did anyone see? Because it was to be investigated.
Albon got a penalty. Albon's got a grid penalty. Yeah. I didn't agree with that grid penalty.
He went in very hot, and Stroll gave him no room. So, I don't know.
It cancelled each other out, in my opinion. Already in the race.
There was an interesting compilation of Lance Stroll crashes that someone made after it, and there was one that was in my head that it just... Do you remember the Max one that they had in Portimao during practice?
Yeah.
And Max was alongside him and he just turned in. He didn't notice. Someone put a compilation together and basically that is the standard Lance Stroll crash.
Yeah.
So the thing it seems to be is he's not aware of what's going on around him. And when he's got a car close behind him, he doesn't defend. He just takes his normal racing line. Which in the case of Albon and some other ones that he had, kind of sucks the driver in behind you going for a dive because it looks like the guy's not trying to defend it.
Yeah.
Right, and the rules say that clearly the attacker is at fault.
Yeah.
In most cases, apart from Algarve. But very Ayrton Senna-like, I might say. That's the only part of Stroll that's like Ayrton Senna.
It just seems like a general lack of awareness from Stroll, but it seems to be his style, but it just doesn't. He obviously thinks they're far enough behind where they're not going to go for it, and I'm going to hit that apex come what may. And he goes for the apex, and the guy's there because he's like he goes to the outside to take his normal line. He never other drivers kind of hangs towards the middle to kind of indicate they're half defending. Stroll doesn't do that, and Albon just wiped him out. Don't think it cost him anything, did it? I don't remember either of them being in the points at that point.
It didn't cost Stroll, but it did cost. Well, it didn't cost Albon, but he did sort of retire, didn't he? But he still was classified.
They were out of the points because Hamilton overtook them a few laps before.
Yeah. Did you get a point for that then?
What? I think he was only joking with that, I think he was just frustrated. With people taking that literally, I'm like, come on, he knows.
Oh, yeah.
But if you take it out of context and you just have it written down, it sounds very arrogant.
Yeah. It was a race with how many retirements? Well, 2 do not starts.
Yeah.
Which I can't remember the last time that happened. The last ones I can remember is like 2 years in a row. I think Sainz missed Spa for McLaren.
Yeah.
But I can't remember a race where two people didn't start in a long time.
Still got the days of
And
pod
then-
messing.
And then we had 5 DNFs, and Lance Stroll was the only one that was a lap down then.
Yeah, Altman
But
technically retired, but he didn't. So it's
yeah,
kind
because
of,
it was classified. Yeah.
so yeah, all those cars that didn't finish the race or didn't see the finish line, shall we say? And Hamilton still only got 10th. I know the safety car
That's true.
ruined things a bit more.
It
but
did. Because I feel like without the safety car, that would have been 5th rather easily.
I'd have said 6th. Cause
Oh,
I
okay.
think Russell was far enough ahead, I think, that they wouldn't have even contemplated swapping them around.
Oh, yeah, sorry, that's bad maths, isn't it? Russell was in 5th, you're right. What I mean was the one position behind Russell, which is a good recovery, but then it was scuppered.
Mhm.
Still not a win, though, is it? Doesn't matter, really.
It's a good win for Max. Leclerc took the fastest lap, but I thought it was interesting after the first safety car that there was basically a split in the top 2 teams again. Sainz and Perez couldn't match
Yeah.
one of their lead drivers, basically. Which I'm more surprised about Sainz and Perez, but the way he was talking after is that he knows where they're struggling with the car for him and they're going to get there. But I just felt so bad for Checo.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it definitely should have been his race, but the good thing is it's not like he's missed out on his first win. He's already had that. So I'm sure he'll get other opportunities this year.
But Alpine are back, 6 for Ocon. We would probably been 6th and 7th if Alonso hadn't retired. Norris got 7th, which was not deserved on pace at all.
That was because of the safety car in reverse, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Largely.
Yeah.
Although McLaren were more on pace relatively this weekend to be in that position.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
What Norris said is that they didn't do anything in the car. It's just the big problem is they're absolutely awful on low speed corners and they're not great in medium speed. So this is all pretty much fast apart from the last corner and the first corner. So they were deceptively further up the grid. But if it basically said we'll be back to where we were in Bahrain in Australia. It's going to be a painful one for McLaren this
I think so. It's encouraging in one regards that both Norris and Ricciardo still seem to be very close to each other this year in terms of their pace as opposed to last year. It's just a shame it's at the back.
That new contract for Norris worried me when he signed it. And I think even Jenson Button was speaking today saying that he didn't understand why he signed that at all.
Oh, really?
But
Yeah.
There's some exit clauses.
I hope so, because it's another 4 years, McLaren, which is such a shame considering how well they've done the last 2 to now be where they are.
It just depends if it's something that can be turned around sort of by, say, mid-season or if you're talking another year or 2 years to get it back.
That's a full reset for me.
Ricardo did say he wouldn't be surprised if they won a race this year. But I think I would be at this point. So I don't know where his optimism's coming from.
Yeah.
But I remember a lot of people saying during practice like their car looked really simple and that they think that they're being really clever and all this, and then it kind of turned up the first phase and went, oh, they're probably too simple. They probably made a mess of this.
Yes. Yeah, I was one of those who said McLaren looked like they could be potential title contenders this year.
We're all sucked in. So, are we all excited for the Australian Grand Prix this year?
What time is it?
6 o'clock in the morning, I think it starts here.
I remember the days.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, didn't it used to be early?
It used to be like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So I always used to stay up and watch it. And, when you couldn't record things, you had to watch it.
Yeah. Those were the days.
We
I
had put in a VHS. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Accidentally record of your mum's Touched by an Angel episodes. Absolutely raging.
Yeah. Speaking from experience there, Colin.
Yeah. Oh, she got me with one. I'm raging about it. WWF Survivor Series 2001.
Wow, that's specific.
Yeah. WWF versus Alliance for whatever company survives. 10-person tag team match, so 9 people make their entrance. The Rock's making his entrance, and the second he steps in the ring, it cuts to an episode of Touched by an Angel, which they've recorded over it.
I don't even know
I
what
was
Touched by an Angel is.
Oh, it was a program where people were touched by angels. Basically, a person had like a guardian angel that came down and turned her life around or something. It was one of those nonsense, everyone like
Yeah.
lifestyle or whatever that channel is. One of those crappy TV shows. So yeah, those were the days. But put in your track basically 4 DRS zones.
Yeah, I know. 4 bloody DRS zones. That's just mad.
Where are those? Front straight.
Second straight after the first chicane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you've got one round of back straight, which used to go into it does go into that, the fast left right.
Mm-hmm.
And then just an exit the left right, yeah. It's not a track there's a lot of overtaking on normally.
No, but I'm curious to see how these changes take effect to the track itself, not so much the DRS, but it's meant to be a faster, more flowing and wider track. But will that actually make the racing better? We won't know until we see.
Let's find out. I've always enjoyed the race there because normally it's the first of the year, right? And so therefore it's full of drama and unreliability and unpredictable results. And the car setup is
K-Mag podium.
K-Mag podium. Apparently the car setup is quite different to other circuits, which always brings up some anomalies. But now it's not that. Now it's like the third race of the year. Will it be just as unpredictable? Let's hope so.
What I always liked about it was turn 1, because there was normally something mad happened there at the start of the race, and it was always a big disappointment where everyone got through clean.
Yeah.
I got up at 7 a.m. to watch a massive crash there, and nothing happened.
Ralph Schumacher flying over Barrichello.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's wider as well. That's been widened at that corner. So, but once again, I'm not sure how much difference it's going to make.
I'm a bit dubious myself.
And will it be in the Formula 1 game? Probably not.
Not for 4 years.
Yeah. You've got, turn 1 maybe overtaken, turn 3 is normally the one where people do, but that's the Alonso and Martin Brundle flying corner.
Yeah.
So it's not a safe one. There was never much into the chicane before the fast straight. Not that I can remember. The really slow, awkward one.
Yeah, you occasionally got someone, but it was usually someone who was much quicker rather than a fighting overtake.
Yeah, and then you're maybe looking at 13. If they can follow through the fast bit now.
Yeah, that's what we'll have to see, because it was always quite tight through there, wasn't it? So people would always fall back quite a lot before.
I think they banked that corner as well this year.
Oh.
So I'm pretty sure they were adding banking to 13 and 14. So there's going to be a camera to it.
That's weird.
It'd be good though. It's just good to see Australia back though. After, is it 3 years or 2 years since we've had one?
Well, yeah, it was mid-weekend that it got cancelled for COVID. It was just before Friday practice, wasn't it? Because McLaren pulled out because the team member got COVID. And everyone else was going to continue. Christian Horner was being his usual self. And then about 2 hours later, everyone pulled out.
Did you see on Twitter, for some reason, people were resharing the 2020 tweet saying Australian Grand Prix cancelled? It got me. I was like, oh no, not really? I clicked the link and it's like, oh, it's 2020.
I remember a few months ago seeing a video where all the McLaren team mechanics, there was like 8 of them, who all got locked in a Melbourne hotel room for like 3 weeks after it because they all got COVID that weekend, and like nobody knew what was happening. So I think they were all in each in a room, sealed room. They weren't allowed outside, and I think basically Andreas Seidel bought them all PlayStations.
Oh right.
But they said it was awful being stuck in a hotel room for like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And I think they were allowed out on like scheduled runs around the pool, so they were like monitored the full way. And I remember them talking because nobody knew what it was back then. It was mad that weekend.
True.
But yeah, I'm glad Australia's back. It's always fun. Home win for the Honey Badger.
It would be interesting, but
I mean, and there's long odds on that.
So, predictions then?
Oh, the best bit.
Yeah, I can't remember what we did since it was 3 weeks ago.
I said science, but I was wrong for Saudi.
I'm going to say Sainz to win this one. Leclerc and Verstappen try to break down or hit each other. Sainz to
Let's
take
throw
it.
another one out there. Perez.
Yeah, right. It's toss up. It's a good alternative. Those are the two options, right?
Mm.
I'll go Leclerc.
Predictable and probably correct.
Yep, you know me.
I have to say that one thing I've noticed so far with the Ferraris, I don't know if you two agree with this, but I think Sainz's Ferrari looks so much nicer with those luminous yellow strips on it.
Oh, I've not noticed that.
I don't know, it just reminds me much more of the old Elysian Burger days.
That is a throwback.
It's,
Benetton.
No, the Ferrari.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, well, what about they were never teammates at the same time?
Because they had the luminous yellow strips, or one of them did, I think.
Oh, I see. I don't know that. Damn.
Yeah, it just looks much nicer.
I do like them on Hamilton's Mercedes as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. I'm with you on that. I've got to sit on the Merc, but not the Ferrari.
Mm.
I'll keep my eyes peeled.
So, should be a good weekend.
Mm.
And we'll be back probably on time next week for a review.
Yeah.
Any more from you guys?
Hopefully
No,
we can do a British Touring Car preview soon, but otherwise all good on the Formula 1 front.
Yes. And we are going to Las Vegas next year.
Oh, yes.
Oh, did you see the video of getting the drivers to react to the news?
Yeah.
Mm.
That's bad. It's one of those ideas that's straight on paper and went on far too long and was too cheesy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a race limit for next year. So someone's going.
Mm.
It's a Formula E style track.
Mm. Happy, joy.
At least the nighttime shots. It's on a Saturday night here.
True, yeah.
It's going to
Yeah,
be
that's
about
weird.
midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning or something. No, it's going to be like midnight their time, so it's going to be on here really early. That'll be a 4 o'clocker.
Mm.
So that'll be good. At least it'll look good with the skyline, but
Yeah, well.
we'll see for the actual
Oh,
race.
it's amazing if you have the Las Vegas casinos and stuff behind you. It's a big coup,
Yeah.
but it will be judged on if the racing is any good. And I'm not convinced at this moment in time that the layout is appropriate.
The event will be awesome. The race will be tragic.
Ah!
Tragic's probably the wrong word, actually.
No,
That's
no, leave
bad's
it.
going to happen.
That was good.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we'll see you next week.
Ta-ta.
Ta-ta for now.